Hey, what's up here, Skelemystyk? I am here today in Azteca, post-apocalypse, because I think that the destruction raining down around us is very pertinent to the point of this video. The title of this video, as you saw, is Why I Am Quitting Wizard101. Let's talk about that for a little bit. I have been at this game, wow, since Dragonspire. I do believe since Dragonspire was the final world, was the final bit, and Malistaire was just coming into his own as a bad guy, and trouble is really just getting started cooking up, and things weren't what they are now. Another reason I chose Azteca is because, as far as I can remember, as far back as I can look and think, Azteca was the beginning of the end, not only in the game world, but in reality too. That is, Azteca is the first world where you started hearing murmurings about, man, this game's getting kind of old, and man, this isn't quite what I had hoped for, and man, that storyline sucked. What's going on with that? And oh goodness, just any number of other things. It was one of the first times that I remember hearing people who are Crowns players getting just a little bit ticked and complaining that they couldn't get into test realm because they were Crowns players and hadn't bought Crowns recently. Sorry, I had to wet the whistle there a minute. And the only people who were being allowed to get into test at that time were membership players. That was the first murmurings I remember hearing about people being unhappy with that. Overall and all in all, Azteca is the world in the timeline that I can most remember where the general dissatisfaction started. People, for some odd reason, did not accept Azteca as well as any of the other worlds previously, even though a lot of people didn't really take a shine to Celestia. They really, for some reason, didn't like Azteca, and it only went from bad to worse after that. I mean, Polaris came out, people flat hated Polaris, and it seems like it's just gotten worse from there. The general dissatisfaction, the general disquiet, the general, well, dislike of Wizard101. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking right now, does this mean Skelemystyk is quitting Wizard101? Well, guys, it doesn't mean that I am quitting. The purpose of this video isn't that I am quitting Wizard101. The purpose of this video is talking about why so many people are saying that. People left and right all around me, the ones that aren't, excuse me, the ones that aren't getting banned outright, that is. Sorry, Lou, I'm talking about you, brother. Dakota, for those of you who don't know who Lou is. And a number of other people have just, I don't know, grown up and gotten away from Wizard101, or gotten tired of what's going on with the game, or just any other number of things. I hear every day, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like the other, and this is why I'm quitting Wizard101. And guys, I don't, in a way, I understand what people are saying, you know, about this and that and the other. I mean, I understand what they think, what they feel about the thing, but I'm not sure that what they're saying, what they think, and what they're feeling is entirely accurate and based on the facts. That's coming out really harsh, but I don't want it to be, and I don't want it to be that way. I think that what's really happening here, I mean, let's face it, Azteca in its gameplay is a little bit different than Wizard City, but at the core of it, it's still the same thing. Defeat and collect. Go here, get that, beat this person, return back to this quest giver, and turn in the quest and get your experience. It's really, in Azteca, basically the same thing as Wizard City, as Mushu, as Dragonspire, as all those worlds that started out at the beginning that people didn't seem to mind. You know, sure, you get places like Chrysalis, and there's a lot of defeat and collect. A lot of, you know, go defeat this guy or this mob and turn it in for a quest. Go back there and one quest later and defeat the same mob for something different and return in for a quest. You know, skip one and go to some different guy, but then on the next quest, come back to that same guy you were just at, kill him another number of times, and collect whatever it is and turn in for the quest experience. I will be the first to admit that some of the later worlds got a little bit of that going on. Maybe even more than a little bit of that going on. For sure. But I also think that, I'll tell you what, and I said this at least partly, or I addressed this partly in an earlier video, I don't think that it's the worlds that are changing that greatly. I don't think that it's the way the graphics are presented that greatly. I mean, let's face it, sure, graphics have changed since 2008. Sure they have. But people were playing this for all those years. Between 2008, let's see, if I remember right, Azteca opened in 2012. I think it was the end of the year 2012. Which means Wizard would have been about 5 years old then. People have been playing that for 5 years. Same graphics, same defeat and collects, same general go to this person and get this and then come back to the same person and turn in for a quest experience. And been playing that for 5 years with no complaints. And in fact, not only no complaints, but growth. I mean, Wizard101 between 2008 and 2012 exploded. It went from a little, not very much noticed game to something that was doing TV advertising every week and just blowing up. I think what has changed and why so many people are, quote unquote, coming up with reasons why they're quitting Wizard101 is simply the fact that they're growing up. Simply the fact that a person who's 18 will not view a game in the same way that they do whenever they're 8. I also think that those 8-year-olds who started and love this game and that now dislike it are telling their brothers and sisters that it's childish and that they dislike it, and those brothers and sisters and family members who look up to them are saying, hey, well, you know, Joe hates this game. Why would I want to try it? No, that don't make any sense. Joe will laugh at me if I play this game. And that's little 8-year-old Bobby talking about his big brother Joe. Which is why we aren't replacing new players with nearly as many young people. Young people who would be interested in this game, if not as much as those original people, at least some. This game does have the elements that young or younger players would enjoy. Sure, have times changed? You bet they most certainly have. Have games changed? You bet they most certainly have. But I don't think all those things have changed nearly as much simply as people, as a whole, as a race, and in general, have changed. And that, in addition to some of the practices that I don't necessarily agree with that have happened in the game in the ensuing years, I think those two things are really the combination of why it is that people are saying, hey, this sucks, that sucks, the other sucks, and that's why I'm quitting Wizard101. I think that, sure, the game has got to make some changes or do some things differently, and they've been trying. You know what? I asked about this the other day on my social media just to see what people would say. I asked, what do you like most about Wizard 101 and what do you like least for just this year? Not in general, just this year. And I got a lot of people who disliked monstrology as a concept. Because, for one thing, well, they already give out house guests and packs. That's for one thing. For another, people are more reward conscious than ever. And monstrology, to be honest about it, has an awful lot of work simply for the rewards of having a battle or having some housing guests in your house. I'm thinking that really monstrology would do a lot better, or would have done a lot better if again King's Eye would listen to some of my videos and make some unique type rewards that only certain schools or certain, times or certain anything could get. Making rewards that are unique, that only that person could have, or only a few people could have, which would give you bragging rights and make you proud. Monstrology does not have that. Okay, it's an interesting concept, but I don't think it's a concept that's going to carry this game through. So yes, as well as the attitudes of players and the age of players and the way players think changing, the game is not changing enough too. So it's a little bit the game, but mostly the way people, I think, see the game. Guys, I understand that the game's got to make a lot of changes, but I also think that we as players have to take some things in consideration as to what we've got here and make some changes and some maybe change some ways of thinking too. A lot of this game, even if you don't like some of the later worlds, a lot of this game is still the same game that it was 10 years ago. Whenever you loved it. It's like that little segment in Toy Story where the little doll is loved by the little girl, but eventually discarded to the trash whenever that little girl grows up. That's Wizard 101 is the Toy Story of the gaming world, I do believe. And I don't know. I just would like to go to the comments one day and see less people saying this sucks, that sucks, and the other sucks, and that's why I'm quitting Wizard 101. I don't know. I just hope for that. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, if it made you think a little bit, if it made you talk a little bit, by all means, hit that like button, a good hard smash as well. Subscribe, share, and yell my name to everybody you know, because I would love to see more of you around here. Until next time, this is Skelemystyk reminding you that whatever else you do, always love the game. Peace. Hey, what's up, Skelemystyk? I am once again back in the pet pavilion with Pet Train Baby Chicken. Baby, do you understand any of that? Let me try one more time. I am back with Pet Train Baby Chicken. We're going to be finishing up our man Groot here, the mighty, the woody, the plant-bound.